Hello and welcome to God's Minute. I'm Pastor Jonathan Conrad and I am the senior pastor at St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Wilmington, North Carolina. This week, we are going to look at a book from the Old Testament that you may not be very familiar with. That book is Obadiah. Let's start off with our reading for today. The vision of Obadiah. Thus says the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a report from the Lord, and a messenger has been sent among the nations. Rise up, let us rise against it for battle. I will surely make you least among the nations. You shall be utterly despised. Your proud heart has deceived you. You that live in the clefts of the rock, whose dwelling is in the heights. You say in your heart, who will bring me down to the ground? Though you soar aloft like the eagle, though your nest is among the stars, from there I will bring you down, says the Lord. So let's talk about Obadiah the book. Obadiah is one of the 12 minor prophets that we find in the Old Testament. The 12 minor prophets are the books that wrap up the Old Testament. Obadiah is the shortest book in the Old Testament. There are 12 known Obadiahs throughout the Old Testament, so we're not really sure who this Obadiah is since that name was commonly used back in the Old Testament. It's also written for the Israelites after they have been in exile from Babylon. And it's also written towards Edom, their neighbor, who had a history with Israel up until Babylon came along. And Edom chose to fight on Babylon's side. And so there's a lot of harsh resentment towards Edom throughout this book. And because it is a prophet book, there is prophecy. And prophecy in the Old Testament is split into two segments. You have judgment and then you have hope. So you will get a lot of judgment in this book, but there is also hope, especially for the Israelites as they deal with exile. Judgment and hope. Let me give you an example of what that looks like in today's world. I am overweight, and I know how I got that way. Too many Cheez-Its. That's right, too many Cheez-Its and not enough fruits and vegetables and not enough time to work out. So that is the judgment. And the judgment is there to remind me of how I got to my predicament. But the hope is there too. I know what it's like to lose weight, and I look forward to seeing how, when I lose weight, how I will feel and look after that. So there is judgment and hope. There is feeling bad, but also feeling good, knowing what is ahead. And for Israel, they can feel bad because they are in the middle of an exile. But they can also have hope because God has not rejected them. God has not left them behind, and that God will continue to provide for them. And then God will see them through another day. But today, I want you to think about prophets and their vision and how judgment and hope coincide. So this week, we're going to take some time in judgment, but also spend a lot of time in hope. And thank you for joining me as we go on this journey together through this awesome book called Obadiah. Thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow for another edition of God's Minute. Take care and God bless.